Hello, YouTube! So, today I have a very special guest. This is my friend Dr. Jen, and she is an occupational therapist. So I will let her tell you what that is, but today we are talking about desk ergonomics. So, is it the most fun and exciting topic? Well, it's not a new lens, but it is very, very important for every single photographer. Dr. Jen here is an occupational therapist. So, Jen, what is an occupational therapist?
I'm so glad you asked. Occupational therapists, we are rehab and adaptive life skills specialists. So we also specialize as hand therapists, and I have some experience with that, and I'm really excited to share that with you today.
Awesome. First things first, how can I be sitting in a way that doesn't break me?
I mean, it does matter how you sit, because you think the number of hours that you are sitting at your desk over years of time, that adds up. And repetitive strain injuries can sometimes be really hard to fix if we let them sit for too long. So I'd love to go through your desk with you and correct some of those things and show rather than tell some of that.
Once we get our ergonomics in place and we sit down and we have 40 hours of stuff to edit, what's something else that we can do that is like good for our health and will help us to like keep going?
Yeah, breaks. I know that you can be so intense and just want to finish it and push through because you finally started paying attention to it, right?
It's like you know me.
Oh, what? I've known you for 10 years, Ben. So breaks are important because if you think about how fast you tire out in a workout, right? You need to take breaks often. You're working out muscles that are this big. Like, those little guys need a break. So try and find something to do that is as different as possible from what you've been doing. Whether that's stretching out your arms, stretching out your shoulders, whether that's like wiggling around. Sometimes just like let your body move around, shake it out, do whatever you can. And at the same time, it's nice to give your eyes a break using the 20-20-20 rule, where you look 20 feet away for 20 seconds, just to every 20 minutes, to make sure that your eyes aren't getting a strain injury from, or getting too fatigued from looking at your monitor.
Hold it. I want to break that one down for the people who are skimming through 20-20-20 rule.
Yes.
What's the short version?
Look 20 feet away for 20
feet away.
seconds every 20 minutes that you're working.
Okay. So set an alarm every 20 minutes. Just take a break, stare into space.
So that's actually a good point. You can use Fitbit, you can use Apple Watch, there's apps for your phone, there's software, some people use egg timers. Whatever will remind you every 20 minutes and motivate you every 20 minutes to actually take that break will be helpful to you in the long run, because it's more about taking those breaks rather than letting that strain build up. It's much better to work a bit, take a break, work a bit, take a break, than to let yourself get so tired that eventually you end up injuring yourself and then you can't do it, period.
Sure. So, speaking of injuries, what are kind of like the warning signs of like, so most people who have worked in an office have heard of carpal tunnel. That's the big one that I know of. You can let me know if there are any other ones that we need to know of, but like what are the signs that you should go see a doctor and stop watching this video?
So any sign of nerve injury. So nerve injury means that there's tingling, numbness, that you start dropping things because your muscles are weaker. Those are all signs that you should head to the doctor. And why you should head to the doctor is because it's not going to get better. Repetitive strain injuries don't get better on their own. So if you stop it now and you go to the doctor and you get it fixed, you get to hang out with a hand therapist, and that's super great, and we're really fun. But also, you won't get so bad that we can't fix you anymore. So it's better to fix it early rather than later.
Cool. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this little Q&A. We are going to switch things up a little bit. We're going to take a look at me sitting at my desk, see how terrible my ergonomics are. I thought I was doing all right. Apparently not.
You're okay. All right, now we're going to take a look at English.
Go for it.
I was an English major once.
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time. It made me no money. So now it's time to look at Ben at his desk to see what's working for him, what's not working for him, so we can learn from that, and you can try some of these things at home. So Ben, go ahead and sit down at your desk as you normally would.
All right, so all the way forward. Stuff's here, and editing.
So a way that you can do this at home is take a picture of you from the side of how you normally sit. That way you can look at it later and be able to see it rather than try and feel it and judge just by looking at yourself while you're doing it. It's going to be kind of hard. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that the seat height is at a proper location. So what can be nice is Ben did this. He wore pants that have a seam on the side, and you can look and see, is the seam at 90 degrees? His is a little bit above. So I would suggest putting the seat down a little bit.
Okay.
So what this will do is it'll make your knees in 90 degrees and your ankles in 90 degrees and put your hips at 90 degrees.
Is that enough? Do I?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. So you want your hips to be at either 90 degrees or a little bit back at 110 degrees. And then the next thing to look at is, where is this lumbar support at? Is this lumbar support, this lower back support, is it actually in the small of your back? So for Ben, we figured out that his small of his back is actually up here, where this lumbar support is right here. So this chair might not be the best fit, but has it caused you problems yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. So that's the give and take. The next thing that a lot of people have in a wrong location is the elbow rests. So what you want to have is, go ahead and give it a test. We're going to put Ben's shoulders at his side, and where his shoulder normally rests with his elbow is down here, and his elbow rest is up here. So in order to put his arm up here, he's scrunching up his shoulders. And it's most of us already keep our stress right here anyways, and if you're scrunching up anyways, it's going to cause your shoulders to be a lot more tight than they need to be. So let's go ahead and lower this, and it should be at a comfortable height. This might be a little bit too low, but it should be about where your shoulders normally are when they're relaxed.
There?
With your elbow at 90. Yes. With your elbow at 90, and then just a little bit lower. Okay. And then while we're at it, let's have you scooch up.
Okay. And now the chair's lower.
Yep. So the chair is lower, and so we're going to see where the monitor is now.
Well, the desk.
Oh.
Because my monitor is attached to the desk.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Yeah.
So the desk should be with your elbow at 90 degrees. Your wrist should be in neutral. Yeah, you need to lower it a lot. Great. Okay, so go ahead and put your arms where they'd go. All right, so you can see here that his wrist is totally flat, which is what you want. So I do notice that his keyboard has some stands, and a lot of keyboards have this. But you actually don't want that, because that puts your wrist up. If anything, you want your wrist to go down, to have what's called a negative tilt. So yep, you fixed that. Good job. So another thing that a lot of photographers have is one of these pads. And so for Ben, he put his pad out here, which is making his shoulder rotate out, which can be a little bit hard on your shoulder if you're doing it for...
I'll just scoot so we can see from the front. So from the front, it's like here.
Mm-hmm. Which should be, if you're doing something a lot, it should be as lined up as possible. And this chair has the seats, the armrests a little bit too far out, so it should be in a little bit.
So, like...
Mm-hmm. Yep, there you go. Things are more lined up. And then the last thing you should really look at is what height the monitor is. So I got out a ruler, and so I'm looking at where the top of what his reading is, which is about this level. So we do that, and it about lines up. So for people with glasses, especially like bifocals, where the reading section is on the bottom, you actually want to bring your monitor lower so that you are looking at it, you're not having to tilt your head up to see through the specialized reading portion on the bottom. Alright, so Ben is currently in a more ergonomic position, and hopefully will help him prevent some injuries through all of the many hours of wedding pictures I know you have to edit. So when you're looking at how to adjust your standing desk, and it is good to be able to switch between the two. I don't think that standing desks are the answer, because they can put just as much pressure on you if you're sitting all the time. So switching between them is great. So the key that you want here is to have your elbows at 90. So that should be up a little bit, because you're definitely, yep. There you go. Elbows at 90 with forearm almost parallel to the ground. And so that way you are making sure you're not putting strain on your shoulders, trying to T-Rex type, and you're not putting strain on your wrists by typing too far down.
thank you so much for helping us out today. So this has been part 1 of 2. If you want to see part 2, we are going to be talking about how to ergonomic.
How to ergo.
We're going to talk about the ergonomics of while you are out on a photo shoot. So if you want to get notified when that comes out, be sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification, and thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, be sure to leave a comment on this video, and I'll see you next time.
Dr. Jen out.